Well, good evening. Warren Davis here with the Village Network, TVN, and here to talk to you about some very interesting things. For the most part, we've been covering things relative to the Chicago Housing Expo, the neighborhood revitalization. We've been talking about all different types of things specific to those. Today I'm going to have a treat. If you're watching this show but you are renting, or if you are a homeowner, I'm going to give you some very interesting information that I think you'll find very relevant. First of all, a little background on myself. I was a lender for close to 10 years, lastly with a bank called Wintrust. You've probably seen them if you ever drive by Sox Stadium. You'll see Wintrust on the sign. Wintrust is a bank that was the last bank that I actually worked for before I became a realtor. But as a lender, I came across a lot of people that wanted to own a home, but they didn't think they were ready. And it's interesting because you have options. You can go to a first-time homebuyer seminar, unless that's hosted by someone like Neighborhood Housing Services or the like, a delegate agency to the city of Chicago. Sometimes the information you get in there is a little bit biased because you can go to a seminar held by a bank, and that bank is going to tell you what their capabilities are for that particular bank. And you may not know, but all banks are different. One might deny you, another one might say that's perfectly fine, we can approve you. So it's very important to understand that banks are different. As a matter of fact, they're so different that you're encouraged to actually shop around, not just for rate, but for what their capabilities are to actually serve you as a buyer. Not all buyers are created equal, and some, if you have a 700-800 credit score, you have 20% to put down, you're crispy clean, any bank can get you done. But if you're like a lot of people where your credit is not the greatest, you may have filed a recent bankruptcy, or even been in a foreclosure, there are so many situations that you could have that life just kind of threw a curveball at you, and you found yourself in a position where now in your mind you're not in a position to buy a home. Well, after listening to these next 15 to 20 minutes, you might think differently, okay? Because I'm going to give you some insight as to, first of all, what these banks are looking for and how you may be more ready than you think, and if you're not, what you can do about it. So, you ready? Here we go. First and foremost, what are banks looking for in order to give you a loan? Well, they want to make sure you have money to pay them back, which means you're going to have a job, or if you're self-employed, you're going to be able to show your income with tax returns. Now, again, I want to disclose I'm a realtor, not a lender, but I'm still going to give you this information anyway because it is what it is. So, so they're going to want to make sure that you can actually buy the property. They want to make sure you can actually pay the bank, pay the money back for whatever it is you borrow. Now, again, two forms of income. Either you have a job that you've been on for the past 2 years, or you've had 2 years worth of history of working, and they will average that income, and that is what you can make now. Or they'll use some banks will use the income you're making now, others will average. Bottom line is they'll use your income from your employer. Or if you're self-employed, they're going to look at your tax returns, your federal tax returns. And there they're going to look to see how much income you are actually making after expenses. Yes, you could be say like a hairstylist and make $100,000 a year in doing hair. So you're very successful. But it costs you $95,000 to make that $100,000. So you have $95,000 in expenses. As a result, your net income was $5,000. Heck, you couldn't buy the garage, much less buy a home. So how you report your income, especially if you're self-employed, is very critical. When you meet with your accountant or the person doing your tax returns, you have to let them know, look, I'm thinking about buying a home. They might want to say, you might want to absorb some of those expenses because it's going to reduce how much income you can actually show. So you want to let your accountant or your tax preparer know what is it you're truly trying to do over the next few years, and that way they can help you make decisions relative to how you file your tax returns. Okay, so that's one. They want to know that the banks that you can pay them back. The other thing that's most important is they want to make sure that your credit is okay. Why? Because your credit is a way of showing how you pay other people back. Oh, you don't have any credit cards? You don't have any debt? Wait a second. How are you going to get a mortgage when you can't show that you're paying anyone back? It's probably a good idea to get some credit. Now, I know about some people are saying, well, my credit's not good. I can't get credit. Well, then go ahead and buy credit. This is America. Even if you don't have a credit card, even if you can't get a credit card because your credit's not good, you can buy a credit card. There are two types, secured and unsecured. Unsecured means you have good credit so they can give you more credit. Secured says that you're going to secure that credit with money of your own. Now, $300 is plenty. If you can get one for $200, that's good. But you can buy a secured credit card for $200 to $300. Now, when you get that credit card, it is very important you use it in a way that's going to help your score. So, how does your score work relative to your credit cards? Well, I can tell you with confidence that the lower the balance, the higher your score points is going to be from that particular credit card. So I always tell people just buy a pack of gum every month. That's right, buy a pack of gum now. How much interest can they charge you on $1.50? Not much, right? So you don't care about the interest rate. You just want to keep that balance as low as you possibly can. And I say just buy a pack of gum. Now what that's going to do is three things. It's going to, one, show that you are using the card, because every month you buy a pack of gum, then you pay it off, you buy another pack of gum, so you're using the card. Two, it's going to show that you're maintaining a very, very low balance. In other words, you're maintaining the maximum, as much as possible, buying power on that card. Okay? So you're actually using it. Because if you have a zero balance, you're not using the card. It's basically just sitting there. But if you use it just a little bit and maintain maximum buying power, that credit card is going to be worth as much as it can. Okay? Now, let's keep going. So that's how you establish credit card. How many credit cards should I have? Very good question. I'm glad you asked. You can always call 312-738-1060 and call me directly and I'll answer your questions, but that's a very good question. I'm glad you asked it. So you should have good 3. Something about the number 3. Everything seems to work in threes. But anyway, so 3 credit cards is good. Get 3 credit cards. You can buy them if you don't have good credit, and then use them as described. Buy a pack of gum per month, and then, wow, you've just established credit. Now, very important. If you get credit cards, it's probably going to be a good idea to protect those credit cards. Now, I know a lot of people, they wouldn't drive their car without car insurance. So why would you have a credit card without some kind of insurance on your credit card? Some of you have probably heard of this company called LifeLock. There's a lot of companies like that, but LifeLock is one of those companies where they will protect your credit profile. Not just the credit cards, but your social security, your identity. Because those folks that can steal your identity, there's probably not much you can do to stop them if they want to get it. So the least that you can have is insurance, or if someone does open a credit card in your name, you can get a text from whoever your provider is, whether it be LifeLock or whoever, and then they'll say, hey, you just opened a credit card. And if you didn't, you can say, no, that wasn't me. And they can stop them in their tracks. Otherwise, you may not find out till it's too late, and then you'll be stuck with it. So you want to go ahead. It's like $10 a month. Why wouldn't you have protection for your credit? Now, you got the credit cards, 3 secured credit cards, buying nothing more than a pack of gum a month, and you have insurance for the credit card. You have established credit, and you can take your mind off of it. Wait a second. What was that? You have bad credit? Collections? You have collections on your credit? Wait a minute. You didn't contract with that collection agency. You signed nothing with them. What are they doing on your credit report? They shouldn't be there. If you settle with them, keyword, settle, then you can ask them, well, if I settle with you, Mr. Credit Card Company, that I didn't sign a contract with, but here you are on my credit report, how will my credit report get updated? Yes, so if I settle with you, Mr. Credit Card Company, how will my credit report get updated? Well, that's a good question. Most of them will tell you, well, you have to dispute it. I have to dispute it? Yes, you have to dispute it. So if you dispute it, the question is, are you going to dispute it and say it's paid or that it shouldn't be there? I think I know what I would say. You shouldn't be there. I didn't sign a contract with you. I signed a contract with Sears, Visa, MasterCard, but not you guys. I'm going to settle with you and say, and dispute and say you shouldn't be there. Now, it's interesting enough, if they said you have to dispute it, they're probably saying they're not going to respond. And if they don't respond, then whatever you say when you dispute it will be true. That's the way it works. Fair Credit Reporting Act. Look it up if you want to read a Bible somewhere. Read a big book on how it all works. But that's how you address collections. Maybe it will work for most of them. Hopefully it will work for all of them. But that's credit. So you follow those simple rules, but in no time you'll have a good credit score. Credit cards are like dogs anyway. They're fully grown in about 6 months, and then wow, you just established credit. Now, next, the bank is going to want to know that, what's the next best thing? Oh, that you have money for down payment. Yes, they're going to want to make sure you can put some money down. The days of 100% financing are all but gone. Maybe there's something out there somewhere, but I don't know. But you're going to have to put something down. FHA typically asks for 3.5%. Conventional, 5%. I'm not going to get into what those are, but those are two categories of loans. That's enough said about that. So they want to make sure you have that money for down payment. Now, interestingly enough, that money has to be sitting in some kind of account that you can take the money out of. It could be like your checking account or your savings account, or it could be your 401k. Yeah, you can use your 401k. It could be your some stock. Yeah, you could have money in the stock market. Okay, maybe you don't, but you could use it if you did. Any liquid asset where you could take the money out, you could use it. Wait a minute, you don't have any money in the bank? You don't have any stocks? You don't have any money in your savings or checking? What are you thinking about buying a house for? Well, nothing wrong with that. You rent and you don't have that, so why can't you own and not have that? Well, people go from paycheck to paycheck all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. It's how you get it done. Instead of renting, your money could be going towards your mortgage. So you have no money? Well, guess what? You can get a gift. You can get a gift. A gifter. They can actually give you the money. Now beware, if they give you the money, they have to show they have the money to give to you. They'll have to give the bank their bank statement and sign a letter saying you don't have to give it back. But that's how you can get the money. Wait a second. You don't have anyone you know that will give you the money? Wow. So that's a tough one. Actually, no, it's not. I mentioned NHS before. NHS and many others, even the state of Illinois. They have this thing called down payment assistance. There's a good one. Down payment assistance from the state of Illinois. That's like your tax dollars coming back to work for you. Well, you can get up to, how much? $7,500. That's a lot of money. When do you have to pay it back? Well, if you're in the property for, I think it is 4 or 5 years, don't quote me on that, but as long as you're in the property for a while, you don't have to pay it back. But you do have to live there, which means you're going to be an owner-occupant. You investors? Nope, sorry, no down payment assistance for you. Wow. So you can get down payment assistance from the state. Or if you want to live in Woodlawn in Chicago, wow, there's all kinds of money out there for you. If you work for the University of Chicago, wow, you can get all kinds of money. Didn't know? Hey, go check them. Go talk to them. So we have a job or your tax returns. We have credit. And we have, if you need it, down payment assistance. Why are you renting? What's your reason now? Think about it. You have no excuse. So, there you have it. That's everything you need to know and how to not only establish credit, but how to qualify for a mortgage. Is there more? Yes, but that's a bulk of it right there. So, there you have it. That's some very good information for you. Oh, excuse me. You own a home. You own a home already. You already have it. But you're upside down on your mortgage, which means you owe more than it's worth. That's a bad place to be. And you didn't refinance? Oh, wow. It's not even your fault. That's sad. But guess what? Wait a minute. You can't sell because if you went to sell, the bankruptcy, you have to bring the difference to the closing? That's pretty sad. You want to do a loan modification? That's like a bankruptcy for the house. It's not going to help the leaking roof. Old furnace, if inefficient windows, just inefficient house, period. But there is a mortgage out there for you that doesn't look at what your property is currently worth. It looks at what it's going to be worth. Yeah, it's almost like flipping your own house. You can get money based on your future value and stay there and have it renovated just like on HGTV. for those of you that know what that is. Yes, it's called the Consumer Renovation Program, CRP. One's called FHA 203K, another one is called Fannie Mae Homestyle, but why get into the details? If you go to a bank and say you want to do a renovation loan, they'll hook you up with what they have. And this mortgage looks at your future value. So if you owe like $120,000 on your current home, but they're flipping homes around you for $300,000, and they're beautiful. You wish you could have one of those, but you're stuck in your grumpy old house that you've been in for the past 15, 20 years. But now, you're hearing about this mortgage program that allows you to get money not based on what your house is worth now, but what it's going to be worth. Think about that. That's pretty interesting. Future value, future equity. My son was just telling me about these folks from the future and how you can, tap into, get knowledge of what's going to happen in the future. Well, you can just call your realtor and say, hey, what's my house going to be worth if I were to tap into my future value? And they can, right here in the present, tell you what it's going to be worth. And then you can say, for example, if it's going to be worth $300,000, like those flip properties, and you can afford a payment based on $300,000, wow. You owe $120, you can afford $300, you can get $300. That's a difference of $180,000. Wow, you could renovate the heck out of your home for that. Oh, you don't know anything about renovation? No worries. The loan comes with the ability to hire your own designer and have your own contractor, and they'll just help you with all of that, just like an HGTV. How cool is that? And then, guess what? You can put up to 6 months mortgage payments into the loan. That way, you can stay at a cool Airbnb while the work is being done. Don't have to put a stress on family members. You can stay in a nice, beautiful Airbnb and then come back to your beautiful home 3, 4, 5 months later when the work is done. And wow, look at that. You're in your future home today. So whether you're a renter or a homeowner, that's some valuable information. Now, for the past 3 to 4 weeks now, I've been talking about things like neighborhood revitalization and how we can improve value and how we can, property value that is, and how we can make a difference in our neighborhoods. How we can actually find a way to make the homesteads, the homes, which if you look around to the average home in Chicago, especially if you're on certain sides of the city like the south side or the west side, there are a lot of boarded up homes and rundown homes. And we're waiting for investors to come in and maybe fix one up and turn around and sell it back to us. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, except you don't really need the investor if you own the home already. And if you're going to buy the home, you can use that same renovation program to buy that foreclosure, that boarded up home, and get it fixed the way you like. So, or if you actually want to invest, you can use the same program to actually buy a property and flip it. So the consumer renovation programs, they're kind of game changers in today's market. So it's good to learn about them. As a matter of fact, you can go to this website here, ChicagoHousingExpo.com, and learn all about the renovation programs. Tap into your future home value today, right? Or you can come out here, click on credit, and I know a lot of people say, well, yeah, you probably have great credit, but look at this. I didn't always have great credit. I'm not sure how to make this bigger, but if I could, you'd be able to see that right here in the middle, back in August of 2014, my credit score was a whopping 508. Yes, that's bad. I mean, I couldn't get any type of loan, or I couldn't even get a credit card with a 508 credit score. I'd be trapped. But I didn't apply for credit cards. I bought my credit cards. That's right. Just like I told you, I bought my credit cards. And then I called all the collection agencies and I disputed them. I was like, what are you doing on my credit? I didn't sign anything with you. And then if you can see here, on my credit report that I put on the internet so the whole world can see is, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Let me go back. Let's go to the credit report here. The old credit report, you will see that it says that all these accounts deleted, 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 deleted. Why? Because once I disputed them, after I settled with them, they didn't respond and they got deleted. I asked them, how are you going to report to my credit report, Mr. Collection Agency, if I pay you? And they were like, well, you got to dispute it. So I said, okay, I disputed it, and there they are, deleted. Now, there aren't a lot of people that will put their credit report on the internet, but of course I did black out that important information. But this is what you want to see. From 508, August of 2014, to 675 in February of 2015. That's less than 6 months, and that's almost 170 points. Wow. So I'm not just blowing smoke here, I'm telling you how to do this. So you could go to this website and, if you're a renter, right? If you're a renter, the question is, why are you renting? Why? Here's one of our past clients. She says, I went to my bank for a loan and I was denied due to my past credit issues. I went to a seminar hosted by Warren LeSean. LeSean is my better half. She's not here right now. Love of my life. And they mentioned a few things about my credit and basically advised her on what she could do. Basically what I just told you. They referred me to another lender and she was approved. I thought I had to rent, was proved wrong, and couldn't be happier. See? If you're renting, the question is why? So you can go out to this website, ChicagoHousingExpo.com, and pick up some pretty darn good information. Whether you're a homeowner, whether you're a renter. Wait a minute. You're a politician? That's going to have to wait till next week. But the bottom line is, if you are renting, if you own a home, you can do something about it. If your credit is not good, you can do something about it. If you're self-employed, file your taxes smartly and show the income you need. And as a matter of fact, don't forget, it doesn't hurt to buy a 2-unit first and then buy a single family later. More about that next time. So that's what you can do. You can just go out to this website, ChicagoHousingExpo.com, and learn all about how you can make a difference in your life, right? This has been some valuable information. I hope you're recording so you can play it back and learn from it. But the bottom line is you can always reach us by just tuning into villagenetwork.org or giving us a call, right? Today you can call us at 312-738-1060. Outside of that, it's got to be 773-426-2896. There you go. I've given you everything you need. I've given you all the ammunition. Now you know what you have to do. Call us. That's what you can do. Just give us a call. Not for you, tell somebody you know. There's somebody you know that's working and renting and would like to be a homeowner, or that lives in a home and it doesn't look like they just, totally renovated and they would like to but don't know how. There are options out there for everyone. We just need to go and connect with the right people. So that is a lot of good information today. I'm sure you would agree. Because not everyone has an 800 credit score. And I know someone said, well, what credit score do you need to get a mortgage anyway? Well, there are some lenders out there, believe it or not, will go down as low as 580. 580? 580. Most of them look for a 620, 640, but believe me, you don't suffer because of your lower score. Think about that. So the bottom line is, if you want to learn how you can become a homeowner, or if you want to learn how you can renovate the home you have, connect to us at thevillagenetwork.org. This is Warren Davis with the Village Network. Glad to have you. Glad to be here. See you next week. Thanks.